So today's our topic is photoelectric effect. So let us put the heading photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. So let us first see what is the definition of photoelectric effect. It is defined as when light is fall on a metallic surface, then electrons are emitted from the surface, and this phenomena is termed as photoelectric effect. So let us write this: when light falls on metallic surface, electrons are ejected. Electrons are ejected from the surface. From the surface, and this phenomena is termed as photoelectric effect. Now this was observed by Einstein in 1905, and Einstein got Nobel Prize for the photoelectric effect in 1921. So after many years he got the Nobel Prize for the photoelectric effect. Now this effect was observed by experimentally by Millikan, which is termed as Millikan experiment. Millikan experiment, in which a photocell was used. A photocell was used. So in this experiment, a photocell was used. So let us draw a diagram of the photocell. So there is a evacuated chamber, and in this chamber there is a metallic surface or metal which is termed as the photocathode, and here there is the anode. Here it is the anode. So here it is cathode and here it is anode, and in between the cathode and anode a potential difference is applied. Potential difference is applied here, and this potential difference is a variable cell or variable potential. So potential can be changed also, and its polarity can also be changed, and here we can put some galvanometer to observe the current, or the ammeter to observe the current. So when light is allowed to fall on the metal surface or in the photocathode, then some electrons are ejected. Some electrons are ejected from this metallic surface. And at the zero potential, if we put zero potential here, then there may be some kinetic energy depending on the frequency. There may be some kinetic energy of this with these electrons, and because of that kinetic energy few electrons may reach to the anode. So even if we apply zero potential, even if we apply zero voltage or zero potential, then we can have some small amount of current, small amount of the current. Now if we increase the potential in positive direction, means if we apply more positive potential to the anode, then more and more electron will be attracted by the anode, and therefore the current will increase. The current will increase. The current will increase. Now on further increasing the positive potential, on further increasing the positive potential, further increasing positive potential, after certain time there will be saturated current. There will be saturated current, means current will no more increase, and we will see the saturated current, or we will get saturated current. And now if we apply the potential in negative direction, means if we apply negative potential to the anode, then the flow of the current will get stopped, and the amount of the voltage at which the current totally stop, that is known as the stopping potential. That is termed as the stopping potential. Stopping potential. And we will get zero current. Zero current. We will get zero current. So let us make a graph for all these what I have written there. In this graph, on the x-axis there is potential applied on the anode, and on the y-axis there is current, the photocurrent. So when potential is zero, when the potential is zero, then there will be certain amount of the current, and if we increase the potential in the positive direction, current will increase, and then after certain time it will get saturated. So if we further increase the potential in the positive direction, then there is no change in the current. Now if we apply the negative potential, the reverse potential, then because of this reverse potential the current will decrease, and this current will become zero. The current will become zero at certain potential, negative potential, which is the stopping potential. So this stopping potential means the energy corresponding to stopping potential, which is EV naught in the negative direction. So that will overcome the kinetic energy of the electron. So at this position, when there is zero potential, the electrons have some kinetic energy, which is the natural kinetic energy of the ejected electron at the time of the ejection. So that kinetic energy is overcome by the potential is difference, by applying the potential in the negative direction. So we have the equation EV naught is equal to half mv square, where half mv square is the kinetic energy of the ejected electron, and EV naught is the V naught is the stopping potential. So this was the Millikan experiment to verify the photoelectric effect. Now let us see what are the factors. What are the factors which affect the photoelectric effect? So let us put another heading: factors affecting photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. So the first is the potential difference, which we have seen. Potential difference applied between cathode and anode. And then second is the intensity of light. Intensity of light. Intensity of light. Then third is the frequency of light. Frequency of light. And then fourth is the photometal used. Photometal used. Which photometal we are going to use. So that also affect the photocurrent. Photoelectric effect, or you can write here photocurrent. Photocurrent. So let us see one by one the effect. So the first is the potential difference. The effect of potential difference. Effect of potential difference. So this we have already discussed, that if we apply the potential in positive direction, then the current will increase, and after further increase in potential it will get saturated. So this is the saturated current. And if we apply the potential difference in the negative direction, then at certain potential in negative direction the current will become zero, and that potential is termed as the stopping potential, which is minus V naught. So this is the effect of the potential difference. Now come to the effect of intensity. Effect of intensity of light. Intensity of light. The increase in intensity of light means there will be more number of the photons, and more number of photons means more number of the ejected electrons, and if the number of electrons are more, it means we are getting more current. So for a different intensity we will have, or for the less intensity we will have the same potential, same stopping potential, but at the different current. So the current I1 and then current I2. Here the frequency is same. So when we discuss the one factor, then all the other factors are kept constant, are kept fixed. So if we are discussing the intensity of light, the change in the intensity of light, it means all other three factors are kept fixed. So for fixed frequency, this potential, stopping potential will remain same, and the because of the change in intensity, there will be change in the photo current. So if the intensity is more, then there will be more photo current. There will be more photo current, and if intensity is less, that is I2, I1 I2 is for the intensity here, and this I is for the photo current here. So if we apply less intensity, or if we give less intense light to the photocathode, then the photo current is also less. So here I1 is more than I2. I1 intensity is more than the I2 intensity, and here it is the I is the photo current. So this is the effect of the intensity of the light. And come to the next, which is the frequency of light. The third factor, which is frequency of light. Frequency of light. Now if we apply a certain frequency, or if we give a certain frequency to photon, then we have the energy of photon as h nu. For a new frequency, the energy of the photon is h nu, and with this energy of the photon, electrons are emitted. So it is observed that there is certain frequency, known as threshold frequency, known as threshold frequency, threshold frequency, below which no photoelectron is emitted. No photoelectron is emitted. So this frequency is known as the threshold frequency. If the frequency of the light is less than the threshold frequency, then no photoelectron is emitted. So either the frequency should be equal to the threshold frequency, or it should be more than the threshold frequency. So let us go to the new page. So we are discussing the effect of frequency on photocurrent. Effect of frequency on photocurrent. So now let us again draw a graph. So in this graph, on the x-axis there is frequency, and on the y-axis there is a stopping potential, and the graph is like this. This is a straight line, and this frequency is the nu naught, threshold frequency. So if the frequency is less than nu naught, then there will be no emission of the or no ejection of the photo electron, and at the nu naught or after the nu naught frequency, one can get photo electron. So this frequency nu naught, where the energy will be h nu naught, this is termed as the work function. This is termed as work function. So work function is defined as minimum amount of energy required to eject photoelectron from the given metal, from the given metallic surface. Given metallic surface. So this work function is characteristic of the metal. It is characteristic property of the metal. If we use different metal, then the work function will be different. Now if we give the energy to the photon, or if we are using the light of the frequency more than the threshold frequency, that is h nu, where h nu is more than this nu is more than nu naught, then the difference of the energy h nu minus h nu naught will go into the kinetic energy of the photoelectrons. So h nu naught is the energy which is the work function, means the minimum energy required to eject a photoelectron, and h nu is the real energy of the photon. So the difference of the real energy h nu minus the work function, and that amount of difference of that energy will go to increase the kinetic energy of the electron. Then we also have equation that half mv square. This is related to the stopping potential EV naught. So this relation we have already used, that stopping potential is the potential which will reduce the kinetic energy to, or which will overcome the kinetic energy of the ejected photo electron, and therefore the photo current will become zero at the potential VE naught. So we can modify this equation as h nu is equal to W plus half mv square, and then this can also be written as W plus EV naught. So h nu is equal to W plus EV naught. So this is the another way to write the equation. Now come to the another effect of frequency, then effect of metal. So let us go to the next page and put another heading, effect of metal. Effect of metal. So as I already said that if we use different metal, then the work function will be different, and if work function is different, then there will be different stopping potential also. So threshold frequency will be different. So here again it is the frequency, and here it is the stopping potential. So we may have the different lines, we may have the different parallel lines, straight lines for the different metals. So here it is the potassium, and then sodium, and then zinc, and the tungsten. So for the different metals we have the different lines, but the relation will remain as such, that is, there is the straight line relation between the stopping potential and the frequency of the light. So this is the effect of metal. Now let us go further and put another heading, that is the laws of photoelectric emission. So put another heading, laws of photoelectric emission. Photoelectric emission. So what we have discussed so far, the effect of various factors on the photocurrent, so that will form different laws. So the first law is that, and these are also known as the fundamental laws of photoelectric emission. The first law is that the photo emission is directly proportional to the intensity of light. The photo emission is directly proportional to the intensity of the radiation. This is first law. Now the second law is that the kinetic energy of photoelectron is independent of intensity of light or intensity of radiation. Intensity of radiation. Then third is kinetic energy of photoelectron. Kinetic is proportional to the frequency. Kinetic energy of photoelectron is proportional to the frequency. This statement you can verify from this graph also, because this potential difference is equivalent to the kinetic energy. EV naught is equal to half mv square, and V naught is proportional to the frequency, therefore kinetic energy is proportional to the frequency. So the same relation which we have already discussed. And then fourth is that only above certain frequency photoelectrons are ejected. And this minimum frequency is termed as threshold frequency. Then fifth, there is no time lag between incidence of light or radiation and emission of photoelectrons. There is no time lag between incidence of light and emission of photoelectrons. So these 5 laws are the fundamental laws of photoelectric emission. Now let us go to the new page and discuss a new heading, which is the Einstein theory of photoelectric effect. So put the heading Einstein theory of photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. So in this theory, Einstein said that photon is either absorbed fully or not. So photon is either absorbed fully or not. It means that once the photon is absorbed, then the whole energy of the photon is transferred to the photoelectron, and then there is no existence of the photon. Photon will become to an end. So after absorption, there will be no energy to the photon, and all the energy of the photon is transferred to the photoelectron. So this is the theory that there is complete transfer of the energy of the photon. So here we can write the photoelectric equation. We can find out the photoelectric equation, and this we have already discussed that if there is a certain frequency nu and the corresponding energy is h nu, then h nu minus h nu naught, where nu naught is the threshold frequency. So if we supply the energy photon of the energy which is higher than the threshold frequency, then the difference of the two energy will go into the kinetic energy of the electron. If we supply only h nu naught energy, then the kinetic energy will be zero, because this whole energy h nu naught will go into the work function. But if we supply more energy, then the difference between the two energy will go into the kinetic energy of the electron. And then this equation can also be written as h nu minus w, because h nu naught is equal to w, where w is the work function, and this half mv square is related to the stopping potential ev naught. So now we can write it in a different way. ev naught is equal to h nu minus, let us write it again, h nu naught, and then v naught is equal to h by e into nu minus h by e into nu naught. Now this equation is as y is equal to mx plus c, the equation of a straight line, which we have already discussed, but let us draw it again, the same equation. So this equation is known as the equation of photoelectric effect, or photoelectric equation of photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect or photoelectric equation, Einstein's photoelectric equation. So here if we put stopping potential on the y-axis and the nu on the x-axis, then using this equation, which represents the equation of a straight line, we have a straight line. So this is the straight line curve which we get from this photoelectric equation of the Einstein theory. Now if we want to verify it experimentally, then we can set up the experimental diagram or experimental setup according to the Millikan experiment, and then we can change the frequency and note down the potential for each frequency. Then we can have the graph between nu and nu naught, and if we get the straight line, it means we can verify the photoelectric equation. So in the experimental setup of the Millikan experiment. What we have to do, we have to change the frequency nu1, nu2, nu3, and we have to note down the corresponding stopping potential experimentally, nu naught 1, nu naught 2, and nu naught 3. Then we will plot the curve between nu and nu naught, and if we get the straight line, it means we are getting the or we are verifying the equation of photoelectric effect. So in this way we can verify the photoelectric effect given by the Einstein theory. And from this intercept we can also estimate the value of nu naught value, which is related to the work function, that can also be calculated from this curve. Now come to the another topic, which is the photoelectric cell. So put heading photoelectric cell. Photoelectric cell. So photoelectric cell means it is a device. It is a device. It is a device which converts light into electricity. So such a device is known as photoelectric cell. So these are of three varieties. The first is the photoconductive cell. And then another is the photovoltaic cell. And then third is the photoemissive cell. So let us discuss one by one. The first is the photoconductive cell. So these are also used like a switch in the electric circuit, because when light is incident on the cathode, then there is ejection of the electron and the current is flown, and therefore there will be current in the circuit, and in absence of the photon there will be no current in the circuit, so there is break in the circuit. So this photoconductive cell is like a switch in the electric circuit. So in this diagram there is iron plate, and above iron plate there is coating of certain material, and that material may be cadmium sulfide, or it may be lead sulfide, or it may be cadmium selenide. So any material can be applied here. There is coating, and above that coating there is the transparent metallic surface. This is transparent metallic surface. Transparent metallic surface. Light is fall on this metallic surface. Then this is connected with the some potential difference, and then there will be some load resistance with this circuit. So what happens that when light falls on this metallic surface or on this cadmium sulfide material, then the resistance of this material decreases. So resistance of cadmium sulfide decreases with incidence of light. and because of the low resistance, now there is flow of current in this circuit. And in absence of the light, because the resistance is very large, therefore there is no flow of the current. So this is like a switch inside the this electric circuit. So that is the photoconductive cell. Now come to the another cell, which is the photovoltaic cell. So now put the heading photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic cell. So here semiconductor is used, and in the diagram there is a basic plate of copper, a basic plate of copper, plate of copper, and above this there is cupric oxide, coating of cupric oxide, and above cupric oxide again there is metallic film, there is metallic film, here it is metallic film, metallic film, and then there will be some contact here and there's some contact here, and there is no potential difference, external potential difference is not applied here, but there is some load resistance R between the two terminal. So what happens here, that when light falls on the surface, then in semiconductor electrons and hole pairs are generated, hole pairs are generated, when light falls in the depletion region of the semiconductor, then electrons and hole pairs are generated, and electrons get collected towards the metallic contact, and then holes are collected at other end. So this end is negative and this end is positive. And now if a external circuit is connected, then current may flow through the external circuit. So here no potential difference is applied, but potential is produced in the cell because of the incidence of the light. So this is also the concept of the solar cell, and this is known as the photovoltaic cell. So current may be drawn from the external circuit. Now the third is the photoemissive cell. Photoemissive cell. So photoemissive cell is similar to the cell photocell, ordinary photocell, which we have discussed in Millikan experiment, that there will be a cylinder, evacuated cylindrical tube, and inside this cylindrical tube there is a cathode plate, metallic plate, or the photo plate, and then there will be anode, and between this cathode and anode a positive potential is applied. A positive potential is applied here. So if there is a vacuum inside this in this cylinder, then the photocurrent is proportional to the intensity of the light, and if some inert gas is filled inside this cylinder, then the amount of the current is increased, but it is no more proportional to the intensity. So we can write it as, in case of vacuum, inside tube current is proportional to the intensity of light, but in case of inert gas current is not proportional to the intensity of light, because there is also the annihilation of the molecule or atom of the inert gas, and therefore current increases, but it is no more proportional to the intensity. So this is the photoemissive cell. This photoemissive cell can be used as a switch inside the electric circuit, where the circuit may be on or off depending on the incidence of the light. If the light is incident, then current will we will get current, and otherwise there will be no current through the circuit. So this is all about the different topics of the photoelectric effect. So let us stop here.